everybody, it's Safi and Marco, dish out on the movies.
Safi is currently eating candy.
Today we are reviewing another, next to the last, full moon movie. And I'm not saying that this is all the full moon movies there are. There's tons of them. But we are only doing 10 of them. So this is the next to the last one that we are reviewing. And it is called Blood Dolls.
Blood Dolls.
And it came out in 1999.
I get to talk about this movie first.
Oh, that's fine.
We used to go to Hollywood Video. We don't anymore because now it's a shitty auto parts store that nobody wanted.
Well,
so
a lot of people go to it.
Fuck that. It's not Hollywood Video. I don't want it. So we used to go there a lot. And it's funny because I never knew that Full Moon Features was an indie movie studio. Because they had tons of Full Moon movies at Hollywood Video. They had posters. They had huge posters on the wall of the Killjoy movies. Killjoy 1 and 2. It was really weird because it made it seem like those Killjoy movies were something that they weren't. It made it seem like those are really scary movies and that there's something that they weren't. And they also had a Blood Dolls poster, I think. And I used to always really want to see Blood Dolls. I would see the trailer in other Full Moon movies. And I always wanted to watch it. And that was back when Safi had to approve of a movie for me to watch. So Safi watched the movie with someone else. And then...
Your brother, I think.
No.
No?
No, he wouldn't do anything like that. But you watched it, and then you said... You didn't say, okay, Marco, you can't watch it. You said, Marco, it's really bad. You were like, it's not very good. And I was like, what are you talking about? Are you fucking insane? Did you see that trailer? That fucking trailer looked awesome. You were like...
He didn't talk like that.
It's really bad, Marco. So, you know, it's really bad. So I don't know what happened. Like, I guess I didn't watch it because Safi, if you were still approving movies, I would say that movie, it's not bad in terms of like...
No.
You would have let me watch it.
There's nothing in there that...
Not really.
I mean,
there was a little part at the beginning, but, you know, where a girl flashes her boobs. But, like, other than that, it's really kind of a tame, crappy movie. So I don't know why I didn't watch it, but I guess I was just like,
At least 6 people get killed, but you don't really... It's not that big of a deal. Now, that sounds weird, and I apologize. But what I mean, it isn't that gross or violent. I mean, I've seen Saw. I've seen things in some of those Halloween movies. I've seen about 1,000 times worse.
She's not seen Cannibal Holocaust, though, so...
I'm not into that, but...
No, you're not going to watch that one, but,
Anyway, this is what I'm saying. Well, I'm explaining myself. Because I really don't like real violent movies.
Blood Dolls. Let's talk about it, because I'm kind of... The thing that I'm struggling with is, what was this movie even about? Because
I didn't like the movie at all. I thought
I
it was
didn't either.
But it has a redeeming quality that doesn't happen until the very end.
But this movie...
Which raises it above the... What would you call it? The average... S-H-I-T-T-Y movie.
Shitty Full Moon movie. Well,
shitty any movie.
But going back to my point, what is this movie even about? Because the title is called Blood Dolls. And it's like, the dolls are really kind of like...
They're just an accessory, like a minor accessory.
Yeah, what would you call them? Like tertiary characters? Or something?
Know,
like
they have
background characters.
The movie, I would say a quarter of it is full of these characters.
Yeah.
You have the little guy, Phil Montecaro?
I don't know.
He's in it. The one who was in the
That guy. Yeah,
the like the freak show.
He's a henchman.
And then you have another guy where he's like the Joker in a way, but he has he's drawn a beautiful clown face on his face.
He's like that meme where where there's a guy who keeps on putting clown stuff on,
and he's not. You don't really see him except once do anything bad. He just is.
He's
like
just there.
Ominous.
He's just an advisor.
Yeah, I mean,
which
and he's kind of ominous.
It's funny.
He has a very low voice.
It's funny because in Megalopolis, I think Lawrence Fishburne's character was supposed to be like some kind of an advisor or something, but he never advised anything throughout the whole movie. Or I guess maybe he was just a driver or whatever, because he's a black guy, and so Francis Ford Coppola didn't want him doing anything significant. So, or I don't know. But, like, this movie, it's really bad. I don't even know what to say about it, because there's not even really a main character. Like, there's two people. There's a guy and a girl, and they're both really evil. They have people killed, and they're really cruel.
Well, basically, it's all about money.
And they're battling. Power. They're battling each other, but neither of them are likable at all. The main guy, he has this defect. He like a Frankenstein's monster or something.
His mother made him in a test tube.
Yeah, so
that's what she said, or that's what he said.
He has a tiny head, and this movie was made by the guy who did Head of the Family. So this it really felt like Head of the Family, but with a couple of little puppets in it. But the thing is that Head of the Family was good. Head of the Family actually had a story. It had a beginning, middle, and end. It wasn't great, but it was a lot better than this.
There's a couple of similarities between this movie and Head of the Family.
Yeah.
They had this big, like a prison cell, and now this is the only similarity I can see right now. And then the head part, where the guy's head was abnormally small.
Another similarity is how there's a woman who uses her sexuality to get out of the situation she's in.
Yeah.
And I guess blackmail. That's another thing that both movies had. But like this movie, it was a mess. I mean, this full moon week, can we just talk about like these full moon movies have been bad this year. Like we really picked out 10 or 9 or 8 crappy movies so far, and 2 of them, or no, 7. 2 of them were really good though, or good in quotes.
Well, they were better than this.
Yeah.
But the only thing though, this movie had a redeeming quality about it, and that happened at the very end.
What happens is the movie goes a certain direction, and then all of a sudden the clown face guy stops the movie and he says, something happened behind the scenes. We filmed 2 endings for this movie and we couldn't decide which one was better, so here's the other one. And so this movie has 2 endings. And I thought, that's a really fun, unique thing. But it totally encapsulates the movie in that this movie just feels like they're throwing shit at the wall. The entire movie. Like so many random ideas and just random nonsense. And the multiple endings thing was a perfect example of that. But
it still was fun.
It was fun. It was cool.
We both liked that.
Because no movies have multiple endings anymore. Like they don't do that at all.
And it's happened. It has happened.
It's refreshing because there's still stakes for the characters, but you can kind of get to see what if this, what if that. And it's not taking itself too seriously. There's not a sequel, so, I like it. I like that part a lot, but the whole rest of the movie's a piece of crap,
I thought
right?
The second ending was... The first ending was kind of a predictable type of ending in a certain way. And then the second, because it features the dolls.
Well, that's the thing that I liked about the first ending, was that the dolls kind of rebelled against them.
Yeah.
Because we didn't talk about how the dolls, this whole movie is because there's this crime guy, or what is he, like a tycoon of some kind, and
it's all about money.
Who's
going to get all the money? Who's going to be control of all the money and the power?
He got found guilty in this trial, and he took the who did he take? The lawyer and the judge and
the prosecuting attorney and the judge.
And he took those people, and he made them into puppets.
And they're not anything like. I mean, one doesn't wear judges' robes, and
no,
they are. One's dressed like a pimp with the hat and the coat.
Safi, why don't you eat your candy that you just decided to eat instead
and then
of?
The other one is. God,
I can talk while you're eating your candy.
Well, I don't know how to describe the other one.
Well, I gotta say it, like, I like the dolls, and
they're really well made.
I didn't understand why they were doing his bidding if they were against him. Like, there was no explanation for that. They weren't characters at all. It's like if you made the Shrunken Heads movie and you didn't have any backstory for those characters, and that movie is still pretty, like, not as good because they were not characters after they became Shrunken Heads. So this movie had the same issue, and it's different in Puppet Master, because they're in a lot of the movie, the puppets and that, and they do get characters for the most part, but in this movie they're not characters at all. So I like the part in the first ending where they rebel against the bad guys and they let the girls go. There's this band.
Yeah.
This band of girls, and they're playing in a cage.
It's a girls' rock band.
And they're forced to play nonstop, like all day and night. And if they don't, they get electroshocked. So they get let out in the first ending. And I thought that was nice.
The puppets let them out, I thought, right?
Yeah, and I thought that was cool. And, but Safi liked the one where they didn't get away, because she likes it when women are in cages.
No,
That's
I
one of
didn't.
Safi's.
I didn't like the second one because the first ending I thought, even though it was predictable, I thought it was good.
Well, now you're backtracking because you said the second ending was better.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
No, I thought the second ending was really stupid, and it was very.
The second ending was predictable.
Well, very nothing. Very boring. It was just like, bing, bang, boom. That's it.
Well, I liked it because it was just fun to see something different. But
I like the two ending concept though, because at least you get kind of a choice, and so you can think about both of them, which one you like the best, which one did the best, and which one you would pick. So.
I would not pick to watch this movie again.
Oh.
This movie was a letdown. It was good that I picked it, though, so that we could finally get it over with.
Well, I like the puppets, because they were very well made. And also, we didn't mention that at the beginning, you have this big power struggle. And this wealthy guy who lost in court and made those two, the prosecuting attorney and the judge, into these puppets. Now, I'm not talking about inanimate objects. I'm talking about animated. They're animated. Okay? But anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, there's two people who come to visit, and they're kind of like his attorneys. Well, he lost in court. And they said there was an Asian woman, and you probably wonder, why do I even say that? I'll tell you why. And then there's like her assistant, this boy, young guy, whatever.
A boy?
They're like, I guess they're like lawyers, they're like on the, I don't know, one of them's a lawyer, and like he's on the team.
They're on
like
the spectrum?
An assistant.
What?
Anyway, or he's another lawyer, I don't know, but he's like a junior lawyer.
You're obsessed with lawyers.
Okay, Marco, doesn't matter. But they're like, and they failed because he lost in court. So he had, all of a sudden their chairs got, these straps went over their arms.
Where are you heading with this,
Well,
Safi?
the thing is that the girl...
Objection!
The attorney...
Objection!
The attorney, the Asian girl, he turned her into a doll. So in the end, there were 3 dolls. There were the 2...
Oh, yeah.
The judge, the prosecuting attorney, and his special attorney. And then he killed the chair, and we had an automatic, like a drill thing, and he turned it on, and it went into his stomach and killed him. I even forgot about that.
Blood dolls.
That was probably the I'd say that was the grossest kill.
Yeah, it was just blood squirting on a shirt. But anyways, this was a bad movie. Again, like, I would never watch it again. And I feel like it's another movie where it's just a lame Puppet Master ripoff. And it's like, I think the weird thing about it, though, is that it feels like, even though they made those Puppet Master movies, they don't know why they're good. Because they're not able to capture what made them good in the first place. And that's what's really weird about it. Like, like, the first 3 Puppet Masters were fantastic. And then they made that horrible 4th and 5th one, and that's when everything went downhill. And I think it's because they do not know what made those movies good. And this movie shows. Right, Safi?
Or maybe they didn't have the same people working on them.
What?
Well, if it just doesn't make sense that they would have people who went to the trouble and made 3 pretty good movies, and they were successful because they were pretty good. And then all of a sudden they make crappy movies, and the same people. And to me, that there's a disconnect there.
Doll graveyard.
So I don't know.
That's the only reason they make these movies, is that so that they can have trailers where the guy says blood dolls, and then you can buy the action figures. Right?
Which if I had the money, I would love to collect those kinds of things. I think they would be, but we have no money now. So to collect, and it's stupid to collect anything. But I have enough thrifting stuff to do.
Blood dolls.
I don't need to collect anything, but
action
they're still
figures.
Really cool.
I want to
really
see.
Nicely made. Well made.
They did make them. They have yeah, they did. They have the pimp, and it doesn't look like they have any other dolls other than the pimp.
We don't know.
Which is weird.
And I wasn't really clear as to, they had a pimp doll and this kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It was kind of like he was bald, and he was like like a fighter. Kind of like I have no idea how to describe him.
They had 2 others too.
I don't know, but anyway, and then there was the Asian lawyer. She was dressed up. I mean, she looked Asian in her eyes, and she had like little flowers in her hair.
You're really showing your true colors today.
I'm just trying to describe these dolls. You can see it if you want to see the movie and just to see the dolls.
Yeah,
it's on Tubi.
I think
Tubi's
people
free.
know that. I think they know that if they watch the movie, they can see the dolls.
If you can see what they look like.
And the last thing to mention is that the main guy, he has a New Orleans accent, and it's really strange because it seems really meaningless and pointless. Like, he's the only, like, I can't, did the movie take place in New Orleans? Like, I don't think that it
look like it did.
I don't think that it did. So it was just really random and weird that this crime boss is like a New Orleans guy. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, this movie was just full of weird, random stuff.
If you watch any of those movies with that, he was a lawyer before, and The Client, and The Firm.
He was a lawyer before.
Yes, he was a lawyer before he started writing these books. When they filmed those movies, that looks like they're in New Orleans. I mean,
William Patterson.
No, it's not William Patterson. It starts with an F, I think. I can't think of his name. Grisham. I think it's John Grisham.
Fuck. Who's William Patterson?
He's the one. He's written all these books, and he's been late like the latest one I think I've seen. He co-wrote with Dolly Parton.
Ew.
They're like mystery books. I did read a couple.
Ew.
I'm not really a fan. I don't really care for them. And like I said, I've read tons and tons and tons of books.
Yeah, Safi's a fan of some pretty bad shit.
I did read The Firm by John Grisham. I don't think I read The Client, but I have seen both movies. And The Firm was interesting. I'll just say it real quick because the movie had a completely different ending than the book. And they were both good, which is interesting.
You know, every video now, Safi's starting to like talk about things that don't even have to do with the movie.
Well, it's good to tell,
Which is kind of
give people an FYI about other things to watch and to read.
You know, when I was a little child, I once saw.
When I was a little child, I was an adult.
When I was a little girl, I once saw a meteor, and
Marco, what are you doing?
I made a wish.
Marco had a medical test today, and everything was fine.
I made a wish.
It came out fine, and so he's being a little stink bomb.
I made a wish.
I made a wish.
I was a little teenage girl one time, and I had a classmate named Susan Templeton.
God, I have no idea what Marco's talking about. He's just completely making up some BS.
Susan Temple.
Let's go back to the movie.
Susan!
So anyway,
Susan!
I don't know what else to say about this movie, except the fact that there were two redeeming qualities. The puppets, which were very well made, and the fact that it had two endings, which was a very nice, creative, interesting, and different concept.
Susan Templeton and I would go to Maybright. Susan Templeton and I.
What did you give it, Marco?
Susan Templeton and I. We went to Maybright together and we ate hamburgers and
I didn't eat Maybright. It was so
chocolate
gross.
malt.
Anybody ever eat Maybright? Ugh, God.
You're going to.
It's like boiled hamburger that's loose and in a bun. Oh, ugh.
Maybright.
And we had one in Lexington, Missouri.
Maybright's good for you.
There's one here in Ohio. In Greenville, maybe?
Susan Templeton loved Maybright.
Just west of here, between here and the Indiana border.
Get off of this tangent, Safi. We gotta review the movie.
You're the one that did this.
This movie. This blood dolls. This movie is like, hey, I want to have a snack, and I really don't know what to eat, so I'm gonna get a piece of candy. I'm going to get yogurt. I'm going to get olives. I'm going to get chips. God. I'm going to get popcorn. I'm going to get little sausages. And I'm going to put them all in one bowl, mix it up, and eat that. Eat that weird random mixture. But then, at the end, I'm also going to get out some cheese slices, some pickles, and a lollipop, and I'm gonna be like, you know what? Maybe I'll have that too. That's what this movie is, Safi. It's just random. It's just random stuff. Which, that's been such a reoccurrent theme on these movies we've been reviewing, is like randomness. If you think about it, like just a lot of randomness. And our last full moon movie is Subspecies 4, which was it was like the finale of the series. Oh, okay. But then the fifth one is like a prequel or something. So, Safi, what's your food review?
Okay, my food review goes all the way to MasterChef last year, almost at the beginning, where, remember, there were two guys from Ohio. And one of them was, he didn't make a very good first impression, but he got better and better and better. In fact, we've often said that he should have been in the finals instead of who was in it, because he probably would have won. that's how good he got. I mean, that's kind of like what you like in Master Chef, where somebody starts out average and they kind of give them a chance and they get better and better and better because they've learned something and they listen to what the judges say. So anyway, but at the beginning, he said something really strange. He lives in Ohio, lives in Columbus, apparently, or in the metropolitan area of Columbus. And he said that he would like to go to these, we have these fall festivals around here, which I think a lot of people have those in different states. And he said he went to this pumpkin festival. I have no clue as to what he's talking about. Even now, a year later, I have no idea. But anyway, he decided in honor of this pumpkin festival, he'd make pumpkin risotto. And it was just, I don't think it turned out well. And it was stupid anyway to ever make risotto because it's like, risotto is hit and miss. We talked about this because it's something that you have to nurse. And if you're not willing to nurse it, then you might as well give it up. And the time that they had to make this, and really this is the average time. They don't really have, to make risotto, you have to have all the time you need to make it because it won't cook right. Like I said, you have to nurse it. And so he made pumpkin risotto, and this movie is like pumpkin risotto, only I would say it turns out good in the fact that they had a choice and they had the puppets. But other than that, I don't think anybody is on the planet wants to eat pumpkin risotto. And that's what we thought when he made it too, and I think the judges also thought that way. I think they even made remarks about that it was stupid.
But you have to admit, it was a good thing I chose the movie because I had always wanted to see it, and we could get it over with too. I mean, I'm excited to just pick. Well, I already picked my 5, but I'm excited hopefully to have 10 better movies next time because it was really rough watching these 10 bad movies, or kind of like 9 or 8 bad movies. Right?
Yeah.
This full moon year was a miss. It was a huge miss.
It's a shame. Because we're trying to give these movies a chance.
Yeah.
And by even watching them,
and
some
Safi,
people would look at the titles and they say, "Forget this."
Yeah,
we didn't even touch it with a 10-foot pole.
And also, Safi says I don't like anything, but we basically agreed on every movie.
Yeah,
so
we did.
It's kind of like a lie. It's another lie that she says on the channel.
God.
As usual.
Whoa.
She lied. She won't talk about Susan Templeton.
I don't know what he's talking about. He's making that up. Like somebody else who's in the news quite a bit every day makes things up every chance he gets.
She won't talk about Charlotte.
Hopefully,
Charlotte.
Marco won't be like that and make up stuff every chance he gets because
Charlotte Richardson. She won't talk about.
No idea who in the heck is that.
Her friends from high school. They'd eat Maid-Rite together.
Marco, I didn't go to Maid-Rite.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't like Maid-Rite.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I never
did.
went there. I think when
Okay.
I went there, it was after I was married. And I wasn't even married to somebody from there, which is hilarious. So, I don't care for Maid-Rite. Now, I think they did have didn't they have good chocolate malts or something?
Yeah.
Didn't you have one of those? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't get anything. I think one time I might have gotten a Coke and French fries there, maybe. We had all these other places to go in Lexington, believe it or not. It was a really small town. But we had these other places where you could go to the drugstore and sit at the counter and get a, God, what was it now? I can't even remember. Was it a cheeseburger and a cherry Coke? Oh, God. It was so good. And then they had another thing where you could just walk down the street and go to this little, it was just like a storefront window, and you go in and you could get a really good meal there, too. And that closed down a lot earlier than the other place, but it didn't last that long by the time I moved there. But anyway... No, I don't know, Marcos. compared to these other two places I just mentioned, Made Right sucks.
Really?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's
Okay.
time to
It's
wrap
time
it up.
to wrap it up.
So if you like this
Wrap
video,
it up.
give it a thumbs up.
Wrap
and
it up.
become one of our subscribers.